One of the big things that I like to talk about is always, how the band likes to have fun and things like that. I think it's important for people to see that side from how you are on stage. Obviously you're gonna kind of be a little more in your face kind of thing, versus, like in private, we still love to have fun. I still call our drummer an Oompa Loompa every chance I get.
Yeah, or fire them.
Or fire him, yep.
And then rehire him like a few seconds later.
Yeah, well, he's a good drummer, so I guess he gets to keep his job.
Yeah. And he's pretty good for 17.
Oh, he's insane for 17. To be honest, he's probably one of the better ones that I've seen. And I've seen a lot of drummers, throughout the years, just leading worship and things like that. It kind of, you run into a lot of different musicians, people that say they can play and can't, people that say they can play and can. But then there's also the flip side to it, because skill's only like 50% of it. The other part is, how you're living life, how you're treating people, things like that. And so like, for our fans, we don't want to be like this far off, person, that's just like, oh, you have to make an appointment with me. That happens a lot in the industry, and it's like, we're just people, and we're just blessed to be able to do what we love to do and have a positive impact on people.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, you got to pinch yourself every once in a while. It's like, man, I'm actually doing this. Like, for me, I didn't think about doing rock and metal like when I first came out of the Army. I was kind of lost, and I was just like, well, where do I go with this? What do I do with the rest of my life? But God had a weird way of showing you exactly what you needed to do. It's not something you expect, and it's never something you expect. I never expected to be the lead singer of a rock and metal band. Here's a funny secret, and people will love this. I actually I have such a hard time mixing my voice, like when we're doing the recording and things like that, because I actually hate the sound of my voice.
Yeah, same.
Right? So it's like, I cannot stand it. It's like scratchings on a chalkboard to me. But everybody else is like, oh, that's so good, it's so good. And I'm like, are you deaf?
Yeah, I know. Whenever I listen to myself on recordings, I was like, I want to change my voice however I can to make it sound normal.
Right, but here's the thing that and I had to learn this too. It's like, yeah, it may sound horrible to you because, well, it's your voice, and we're our own worst critic, right?
Oh yeah.
But if God is using it as a tool to get to people, then no matter how much you dislike the sound of it, you've given it to God, and He's going to do with it what He wants. And so apparently, I found out, lately that my voice range is a rare thing among males.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, really? I never knew that. And also that I don't really sound like anybody else out there.
Yeah.
I have a unique sound, and that's what you want as a musician, looking at it from a marketing standpoint. You want something that's unique and not that everybody else is doing, and we like to carry that into our music too, just how we do breakdowns and how we do the guitar solos, and like for instance, with our latest release, Letting Go.
Oh yeah.
For instance, one of the things we do is we just drop out all of the instruments, and you just have this piano track, and you're sitting there going, okay, where's this gonna go? And then all of a sudden it just smacks you in the face with the blech, and then all the instruments come in at once, and you'll be seeing that live too, which is going to be crazy because people are not going to expect that, and we like to do what people don't expect us to do. That way it always keeps them guessing. They're like, oh, okay, where are these guys going with this song? Another one, nobody would think that we're doing as soft a song as Too Far Gone to Save.
Oh yeah.
But that's another one that's going to be coming out, and it just really is a testament to the musicianship of the bandmates. And everybody involved with Beauty for Ashes, because they can go hardcore metal, they can go soft rock, they can put together a ballad that actually means something and really kind of gets at your heartstrings, and like I'm blessed to be able to have this group of guys. David, who we just brought on, phenomenal guitar player, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, this guy is a hard worker. He buckles down. He does what he can. He's got his own home studio. He's practicing on his own. He's going to go far with us. And the other part of that, not only does he have the skill, but he loves the Lord. You can't ask for anything better, And so we're excited to have him a part of this journey and our Misfit family.
Yeah.
Because I think he's got a lot to add to that, and both him and his wife, because we see them as one, and she supports what he's doing, so, we can't wait to meet her too, and just, form that family bond with each other, like the rest of the bandmates have done. Already, and so it'll be cool to see how he develops. What he can teach us. How we can learn from each other. Really, I always see it as an opportunity to learn from a new thing from someone else.
How we met was a God thing, and you guys have been witnessing on my life.
No.
Ever since I met you guys, and the fact that you guys are letting me be a part of this,
yeah.
I get lost for words.
Every person that we allow into the organization, we pray over.
Yeah.
It's not just, hey, everybody come, be a part of that inner core team. And one of the big things is we look at the heart of the person, and then obviously if they have skills, we'll put those skills to use if they want to learn things.
Yeah.
We have such an amazing team of people where you can learn just about anything you want to learn. So yeah, bringing you on, I saw something in you and I was just like, man, you kind of remind me of me when I was about your age. And that kind of, that go-getter mentality and things like that. And structured and developed in the right way, you can do amazing things, like you already have a pretty good structure and we just got to build on that, and build your skill repertoire, teach you whatever you want to learn, really. And we've accepted you into our Misfit crazy family. You already know how crazy it is.
Yeah. The first video that we made is a testament to that. Yeah.
Yeah, we couldn't. We had a plan for a serious video, and it kind of spiraled out of control.
Yeah.
But that's the fun of it.
Oh yeah.
Just like we can't predict what God's gonna do, we like to be unpredictable too. And we like to have fun with it. Life's too short to be too serious about it constantly. And honestly, this is not the industry to be constantly serious and this and that. You got to have fun and you got to enjoy what you do. Because if you're not enjoying it, then what's the point in doing it?
Yeah, I agree.
So, but enough about that. I'm sure you have a couple questions.
Well, yeah. You already introduced yourself in the band. I'm just gonna go over this introduction. I'm Braden Eisnagel. I'm the intern for New Fire Productions, which you're the producer, one of the 3 producers for.
I am, yes. I don't know how I got suckered into that, but somehow that happened.
Yeah, do you want to go talk about that for a few minutes?
Yeah, guys. So,
I heard it before, but I want to hear it again too.
Yeah, I mean there's so much to unpack there. We've linked arms with an incredible church called Cross Church in Indy. You guys, if you're here, we would love to meet you. Come down, check it out, see what God's doing here, because He really is. He's moving, and it's really cool to see. But God sent us here, of all places, to, and of all things, a metal band to come alongside the church and to, offer what we know to help them grow. And, it wouldn't have been my first choice, not by any stretch of the imagination. But, this has been a real growing and stretching for me. And, we kind of got suckered in by Ian saying, oh, hey, it's, I need your guys' help with a recovery program, celebrate recovery. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I would love to do that because, I myself dealt with drug addiction too in the past. And So I was all about it. I was like, heck yeah, like let's put a new spin on this Celebrate Recovery, kind of thinking, have Beauty for Ashes come and play that and things like that. And so, he sat us down and he's like, so actually, guys, here's the real deal. And boy, don't you love it when you think it's going to go one way and God's like, actually, it's going to go a different way. And, one thing led to another, and, we came alongside this church and, are helping develop it into what God wants it to be. Locking arms with the pastors, keyword, we're collaborating. We're not taking over, and I think that's important to know, because when you're put into a situation like that, you're there to serve. You're not there to overtake. And I think that's where a lot of mistakes are made, including me in the beginning. I had a weird kind of way of looking at it. But God corrected me on that, and he's like, no, you're here to come alongside them. I've placed this leadership in its place for a reason. You're to come alongside and be that Aaron for them. Yeah. And, that's what Beauty for Ashes is doing now. And we're just doing the best that we can with what God has given us. Started up New Fire Productions. And, New Fire Productions originally, funny thing is, I started it because I wanted to push the pay-to-play promoters out of the business, because they were taking advantage of bands, both Christian and secular. And we decided, that was the way to do it. But what we didn't understand was just what kind of impact that New Fire Production was going to have.
Yeah.
And I still don't fully understand it. I'm just kind of rolling with it.
Yeah.
And God is just adding to our number. Like, we just had an amazing vocal trainer get added to our group, who was trained by the best vocal trainer in the world, Melissa Cross. And she blessed him to be able to teach her entire curriculum. Yeah. And that's incredible. Like, people pay thousands of dollars for that kind of thing. And here we are, God just drops that in our laps. Or, how about, the worship collective that we're starting? Oh, yeah. We got people left and right messaging us saying, hey, we want to be a part of this. We want to be a part of this. We've already had a couple of interviews. Because, again, with the worship collective as well, we don't just drop anybody in willy-nilly. It is one of those things where we want to see where your heart's at. And, that'll be the same for like Beauty for Ashes, road crews, sound guys, all of that. Anything that is associated with New Fire and Beauty for Ashes, we just want to be in one accord in what we're doing, and not have these conflicting things happen, because the last thing we need is division. We want to be unified, and we want to stay unified. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, but so here we are with New Fire, and it has had its soft launch, and I mean, we already got artists and everything, and it's just crazy to me. And, God keeps bringing people, and I'm just like, where did this all come from? Like, this is not by anything that I did, mm-hmm. And I fully admit that. None of this is. Beauty for Ashes is not, because Beauty for Ashes came from quite a messed up situation with New Day Rising being our former band. I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole nother thing to unpack.
Yeah, we could do a different video for that one.
Yeah, of course. But, God has literally raised something beautiful out of the ashes of things that were.
Yeah.
And, Isaiah 61 is our founding verse, 61, 2-4, where he says he will give you a crown of beauty for your ashes. And that just really stuck with us, which is why we're called Beauty for Ashes now.
So let's get down into the first song that you guys first produced on all platforms.
Yes.
Darkest Part of Me.
Yes.
Why did you decide to make that song?
So one of the big things is, being a veteran, I struggle with PTSD. And sometimes talking about things, whether it be with a counselor, whether it be with a pastor, however you want to look at it, just doesn't do it. And you can't really express what you're feeling. For me, I'm able to express what I'm feeling and able to kind of process things when I put it in song form. And it's really about not so much, it is the struggle with PTSD, but I don't focus on it constantly keeping me down. I'm saying, look at where the Lord is bringing me. Look at where my strength lies. So the point of this song is not to glorify the PTSD and things like that or the struggle. It's to glorify what God is bringing me out of.
I don't struggle with PTSD, but I struggle with crippling anxiety and depression. So
Right.
hearing that song for the first time when you played it for me before you even released it, I felt God's power in that.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited that you had the call to make that song.
God knows who it's going to affect. Sometimes I always say this when I'm writing a song is like, if it just affects one person, I've done my job. I'm not in this for fame or glory or anything like that. I want to see lives changed. And that's what we write our music about. Letting go is another one, talking about letting go of your past and not letting it define you. And I think that's important because so many of us get stuck in our problems, whether it be mental. You start taking on the identity of that specific disease or whatever you want to call it, or that issue. But what you don't realize is He can take that away from you. That doesn't have to be your identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, your identity is new creation, what He says about you.
And God also says, cast your burdens on Him.
He does.
And He will give you for His yoke is light.
Yeah. And His burden. Or His yoke is easy and His burden is light.
Yes.
That one.
I got that mixed up, but
Hey, man, it happens. It happens to the best of us, But, really, you're 100% right in that. And you have to realize where your strength lies, especially in those moments where it feels the darkest, where it feels the heaviest. You have to understand, hey, no matter how it looks, no matter how dark this hole feels, I know that my strength is in God. And where I put my strength in Him, I will always come through victorious.
Amen to that. Amen. Did you write the melody first, or did you write the lyrics first?
So the lyrics were actually written first. And originally we did it with New Day Rising. Not my favorite version, I'll be honest. I might be a little biased, but most everybody's told me that it's 15 times better than what it was.
I definitely agree, because you played the original version for me.
Yeah.
And that was the newest version that you guys have as Beauty for Ashes.
Yeah.
Is my personal favorite.
Fair enough. I mean, and a lot of, I think, not only the spirit in which it's sung, but recorded and all of that has a lot to do with how the song comes across, right? So we did simple things like added a few guitar licks, added a whole new track.
Oh, yeah.
Added some little spicy surprises in there, and made it what it should have been in the first place. And I think now the way it is exactly how it was supposed to be.
Yep, and God used the incident that happened with New Day Rising and you becoming Beauty for Ashes to help you perfect the song to where it can impact more people, I feel like.
Oh yeah, 100%. and it was completely different mindset going into the studio and putting it all together, you know, from the guitars to the bass to everything, really.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just want to throw out there that, you know, we don't master our songs because, well, I don't, again, like the sound of my voice, and I'll probably do too much to it. But we have an amazing friend named John Enns who does an incredible job mastering. Really, really amazing guy, and good friend of all of us and our band. So that is definitely a shout out I will give John Enns from Remember Me.
Yeah.
So really cool dude.
Did I meet him?
You did, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. It was on that Michigan.
The Michigan show, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's two different questions I want to ask that goes right off of that.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with this one. What emotions were you feeling while you were recording "Darkest Part of Me"? Or
You know, one of the big ones I think was excitement, because the song was finally being done the way it should have been done. A song comes out a lot better when there's multiple inputs and not just one.
Mm.
You know, when one person is determining the entire outcome, be whatever the case may be, it's harder for the other musicians to connect with that song.
Yeah.
But what we saw in the redo of it was everybody connecting in their own way to the song, because they all had their parts to play.
Right.
And each one had their creative freedoms and was able to, you know, because I trust them. They're incredible musicians, some of the best in the world I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And that's, you know, that's a brave statement, saying they're some of the best in the world, but I have to be honest, they are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the licks that Jaron comes up with are absolutely mind-boggling.
Oh yeah, he blows my mind each time I hear him.
Yeah.
And like you've said it before, he honestly does not know how good he is.
No, he doesn't. Jaron, you are one of the best.
Yes.
But honestly, he really doesn't, and that's, you know, I guess that's God's way of keeping him humble.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he understood how good he actually was, holy man, I tell you what. But no, that's the other thing. They're